Everybody, it's Brian. I got a really cool trainer here. This is the HobbyZone Sports Cub S2, and this is a well, I mean, it's an ultra micro little model, 4-axis. It's got ailerons, elevator, and rudder, brushless motor. So overall, you know, a nice looking model. But the thing about this is it's got this SAFE technology, SAFE, which stands for something or another. But the important thing is that this gives you a learning progression. There are 3 modes for flying on this. The first is a beginner mode, which essentially holds the plane in a level attitude. If you go to turn, so apply some stick, it will turn and limit the bank. You know, and it'll keep going through the turn as long as you have that stick in. If you release a stick, it'll self-correct and level out. Same thing with climbing and leveling. Everything is limited. If you switch to an intermediate mode, it does the same thing, but you have a higher angle of bank and a more pitch that you can do, and it's slower to recover. Finally, it has an experience mode where you turn all of that off, and it's just AS3X stabilization, which lets you fly it on a reasonably windy day, kind of like today, and you can do loops, you can hammer it through a roll if you want, so there's a lot more you can do. Finally, and this is what I really like about this, is there's a panic switch. And if you hit that panic switch, it doesn't matter what attitude it's in or what mode you're in, it'll right the airplane. So if you're upside down, it'll roll your level. If you're in a spiral dive, it'll level the wings, pull out, all that. So really nice progression, and should be fairly easy to fly. So let's put it in the air and see how it works. Okay, here we are in the beginner's mode, taking off into the wind. And away we go, just dead simple. Mostly takes itself off, back about half throttle. Now, as you can see, I'm turning. And if I let go of the stick, boom, it's straight level again. Turn, let go of the stick, straight and level again. Let go of the stick, straight and level. You can hear me do that. Same thing if I put it into a climb. Let's bring it a bit closer so I can see what's going on. In a dive right now, let go of the stick. Now that dive was full down. This is full down. Look, that's not very much. Climb. Full nose up, and away she goes. Looks like we need a bit of rudder trim there too, because it's turning when I do that. This full nose down dive. So just, I want to go down. Pretty straightforward. Okay, let's get into intermediate mode, and as you can see, whoa, I can really crank it around. But if I let go of the sticks, it's going to come back. Not quite as aggressively as the beginner mode, but it does have that self-correction. And now if I want full control, it still has the AS3X. I'm going to switch now into the intermediate mode. And now I have full control over what the little plane does. So I'm going to roll in there. So now let's test the panic switch. So what I'm going to do is get myself into a bad attitude. You can see from here. Okay, bad attitude, panic switch, and level. Look at that. I think after I said panic switch, there was no input from me. Still in advanced mode, or expert, or experienced rather. Panic switch, oops, and away she goes. Now if I put the panic switch on, I can still fly it. It just essentially, I think it puts it back into a beginner's mode or something like that, or an ultra beginner's mode. Panic switch, and away, look at that. Let's do it a bit closer. Panic switch. And nice. There's my timer, which isn't really applicable because I haven't set it. Clear that. Okay, let's put it back into beginner's mode, and you see it, boom, it just really sets itself up again, even in this wind. I'm going to do a little bit of a landing. So, pull the power back, hands are off, let's see what happens. Nice. So really controllable landing with no input from the pilot. Let's get up for another go. This time in the experience mode. Needs a little bit more input and correction. But as you can see, it's getting tossed up and down by the wind. We're still keeping good control with the AS3X stabilization. And it's not like it's a warbird, but I can do a fair bit of maneuvering, and so it gives a bit of progression for good progression for the new pilot. Still in advanced mode. Let's go to beginner's mode. Oh, and nothing. It just totally takes care of itself. I'm not making any control inputs right now. It looks like I need a bit of right rudder. That's trim, I mean. Beginner mode still. Let's try another landing. No power. And I can even take off from it again. Gotta say, I really like this concept for training. Back down. Fly back here. Go. Think you can bring it back to land, Everett? Turn it towards us. Turn around. So, as you can see, really easy model to fly. I really like how it takes off. Essentially, all you need to do is apply some throttle. About 2/3 throttle tends to work the best, I find. Anything more than that, and you're just wasting battery. The airframe is too draggy. It's not going to really go faster. It may climb a bit more, but 2/3 throttle is sort of the sweet spot for this. Down to, you know, even a quarter throttle, it'll plug along. This glides so well that it'll stay in the air for a really long time on even just a quarter throttle. So you could probably have really long flights by just using that quarter throttle. Like I said, takeoff is fairly easy. Landing, geez, line it up, drop the throttle, and let it land itself. Pretty straightforward. As I demonstrated, the panic switch is very effective, and it can recover from all kinds of attitude and very quickly. So really nice. You lose your orientation, you're not certain of where you're going, just hit the panic switch and keep flying. However, if you do hit the ground, this one has crashed a few times, a few cartwheels and whatnot, and it's still in perfectly good order. As you can see, I've let my 6-year-old fly it, and he had a reasonable amount of success. So really for all levels. So once again, this is the HobbyZone Cub Sport Cub S2, and you can get this from most hobby stores or online at horizonhobby.com. Thanks for watching.